was a primary school teacher for most of my life, 35 years.
Wow.
But I have always had an interest in meditation.
Why did I become so happy just in 1 hour of being with you?
Yes. So we do the relaxation and the breathing using the big sound.
It's so nice.
This one will affect the heart space. And it can go even louder, but usually during meditation we play it very softly. And hugs.
Welcome everyone to Wellbeing Within Show, a unique platform where some of the greatest teachers and masters in mindfulness field share with you very practical and powerful tools on how to create and enhance your inner peace and inner well-being. And I'm very lucky today to be in this beautiful place called Happiness Center. It's just at the heart of the Dubai, and the most exciting thing is that I'm here with the Queen of Happiness herself, Zarine. Hi Zarine, and thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, it's my honor, my pleasure. Zarine has impacted so many people to live more harmonious, peaceful and happy life, and actually I'm one of these lucky people. You were the most important person in my life who actually affected of how I look at meditation. Because back in 2016 I was a very different person. I never knew what meditation is all about. In fact, I was all against it. I thought it's a waste of time. I'm a busy woman, I have family, I have lots of things to take care of. Why do I need to do this meditation? And then when I realized that so many people were telling me, Christine, you're too stressed, you're getting ill very often, try to do like 5 minutes meditation. I decided to give it a go, and I went to one center, and guess what? I hate it even more. I didn't understand what's happening. I think it was maybe wrong setup for me. I was just completely focusing on my own problems, my own, planning, financial things I need to go through. And I step up saying to myself, well, this meditation doesn't work for me, I'm not going to go back to it. And then a friend of mine was calling me a couple of times to attend Gong meditation with you. And I told her, look, I tried this meditation, it's not my thing, I'm not going to go. She was very persistent for some reason. So I'm very grateful that she was persistent, to the extent that she started actually to annoy me. She's like, let's go, it's amazing, you're gonna like it. I said, okay, let me just give it a go. I'll try it once, and then I thought it will never carry on again. And then I came to your meditation with the gong and with the sound, and this is when the magic happened. I actually was very shocked with my own transformation, Zarine. I left the room being a completely different person. I left in the state of peace, harmony and happiness. And then, when I started to kind of realize why such transformation had happened, I was thinking to myself, well, I didn't have any kind of significant event in my physical life because I didn't get my promotion, I didn't win the lottery. Why did I become so happy just in 1 hour of being with you?
Yes, it's beautiful how it works, darling,
Yeah.
because we create a safe space.
Okay.
And a space where everybody is comfortable.
Okay.
So they come in, they lie down, we cover them with a blanket, they have a pillow under their head.
Okay.
And then we gently begin to guide them into breathing and relaxation.
Okay.
And being 1 hour with us without any technology, without anyone talking to them, being still, because a lot of people are very still right through the session. Of course, they are free to turn, and if they want to cough and sneeze, etc., is fine. But they listen to their bodies. But right through the session, then we guide them through a particular topic, and then the sounds of the various instruments and the gongs. And the gongs are beautiful because they create a space where the body relaxes completely, and the sound goes in through every pore of your skin and does what it needs to do for you, because the water in our bodies, 70 to 80% will carry the sound other liquids, of course, to every cell in the body that needs rest and relaxation, any cleansing, clearing for the energy bodies, and any realigning, restructuring, rejuvenating, and healing at a very deep physical, mental, emotional, and oftentimes auric level as well. And of course, the mind calms down because we explained the difference between music and sound. So music has a sequence, a rhythm, a pattern, a tune. So the mind gets held and it begins to expect the next sequence, the next pattern, the next rhythm, the next tune. And so it does not move away. Whereas in sound, because there is no sequence, no rhythm, no pattern, no tune, the mind tries to keep up but it can't, and it just moves away. So this is where you go deep into your subconscious, and often even deeper depending on the brainwave state again. And you feel like you are awake in a dream, because sometimes you're awake and sometimes you're asleep.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Being awake in the dream. How wonderful.
So before the session, we always explain to newcomers how sound works with the body, especially the sound of the gongs. And so we use the water bowl to explain, with the understanding that the body has 70 to 80% water in it. And when we listen to the sounds of the gongs, the sound enters through every pore of your skin, and the whole body becomes like a giant ear. And water and liquids in our bodies are wonderful conductors for sound. So they take the sound to every cell in the body that needs any kind of rest, any kind of relaxation, any kind of cleansing, clearing, restructuring, rejuvenating, and healing at a very deep cellular level. So we just ask people to be open to receiving the sounds and allow the sounds in to do whatever they need to do for you at that particular point.
That's very powerful. I love this demonstration because it's very simple.
It is, and when I take it to schools, because we do sessions for schools, students and staff, etc., the children always say to me, "Miss, where's the battery?"
That's funny.
It's unbelievable how now the world is waking up to sound being basically the ultimate healing frontier. And so how beautiful it would be if sick children could be put into a room like this, and the sounds are just, playing around them as they are playing in the room. And it's going in and doing the necessary healing and balancing that you need, because every disease is actually the energy body not being at ease, which is why it's called a dis-ease. So the sound would go in and balance the energy body, the energy within each cell, within each electron. And gradually the body would move back into perfect health.
Wow, that's interesting. So then do you believe that the sound healing is medicine of the future?
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. And as we are seeing all over the world now, so many events are occurring so quickly.
Yes.
We read about Elon Musk releasing all Tesla's experiments and products, which are mainly based on frequency and vibration. And then Prince Charles coming out and saying yoga needs to be done in all the medical facilities and the insurance will pay for it. So it's amazing how sound is taking over.
Yes.
And Dubai is so blessed because we have so many gong players and so many gongs in Dubai. Probably the greatest number in such a small place in the world.
Yes.
Yes, because though England and the States have many players, they're huge areas, whereas we are such a small emirate. And yet we have so many gongs and so many gong players.
Wow.
And so many people interested in learning a sound, learning about sound. Yes.
So tell me that what are your main, tools in your magical toolbox of practice? So you've got gong,
yes,
right?
So we have
What
gongs
else?
with the other instruments. We begin usually with the rain stick, which immediately puts people into a space of calm, because the sound of rain is always calming. And so we do the relaxation and the breathing usually with this sound.
It's so nice.
And then we have different kinds of singing bowls, which each has a different tone, a different note, and it can affect different parts of the body and different energy centers. For example, this one will affect the heart space. And it can go even louder, but usually during meditation we play it very softly. But it goes in and it affects the centers and balances them. And the sound of the bell is very potent as well. They say that wherever you enter a space where a bell is being played, your mind goes blank for that moment because the sound goes in and erases all your thoughts.
Wow.
And so bells and bowls and gongs are all made of different metal alloys. And our grand gong master, Don Conroe, who bless him is 85 years old but travels the world, and every month he's teaching in a different city. It is his vision and his dream that all the weapons of mass destruction, basically, all the metal weapons and bombs can one day be converted into gongs and bells and bowls. And that is when peace will actually come to earth. So we have the shell, and sometimes we blow it in the beginning, sometimes in the end. And it is used to clear a space of any kind of negative energy. So it sounds a bit loud, but it's a beautiful instrument, tool basically. And something as small as one single chime can actually take people very deep. And watch how long it continues. You see? So even just this shows how potent sound can be with various parts of the body. And then we have the ocean drum, which creates the sound of the ocean. And again, water. Watering rain, watering the ocean drum, and the shell is also part of the ocean. So water plays an important part in healing usually. And we have this, it's called a Shuddhi box, and it takes people on journeys as well. It affects them emotionally. Often we have people almost in tears with the sound of this. It's very simple to play. I'm not musically trained. And then there's the voice, because when you speak and when you chant or you sing, the voice also has its own frequency and vibration which can go in and heal and affect people in different ways. If you get a child before the child turns 7 and teach meditation, you would have a whole generation that is totally different and at a higher level of vibration. And there would be peace on earth.
They won't be any more.
Yes.
Because they'll be conscious about it.
Correct, because they would be what we call an awakened species.
Beautiful. Oh wow.
Where there's compassion and peace, and where you treat others as you would treat yourself.
Yes.
Where you see the light in others as you see the light in yourself, and you honor it and you are gracious about it. So it would be a huge change. It's crazy how everything in our societies has changed, but education is still stagnant at that point where it was created, where the curricula were created during the Industrial Revolution, basically. Yes, there have been some things that have changed, but not quick enough, not fast enough. And if they are changing in Western countries, I read in one of the books, I think it was Greg Braden in Deep Truth, and he said that it would take more than 10 years for it to filter down into countries that really need to be uplifted faster than the Western world. So education the way we have it, which treats every single child exactly alike, like Einstein's quote about how a fish cannot climb a tree, and yet we ask all the children to give the same test, to sit the same exams, to study the same subjects, and only one or two systems of education actually address this imbalance, which is what it is.
I hope the world will shift faster because there is a big need.
A lot of families are actually choosing to homeschool their children.
Yes.
And Dubai has so many families that homeschool their children as well. And it's done beautifully in groups so that there is also a social structure, and parents who are experts in certain fields will teach them that particular thing, and the child will learn at their own level. And they may or may not have a teacher guiding them. I know so many families who are doing this, and the children are so much happier and more. There is a wholesome development of personality. They choose their own musical instruments, they choose their own talents, their own abilities. And if a child is not very good at maths and he or she wants to learn the violin, then the parents would put more money and more effort into teaching the child that particular musical instrument than, where in normal schools you would tutor a child and force that child to pass and excel in maths, which the child hates. So it's really beautiful how things are changing. Maybe a little too slowly, but who knows? Maybe there will be exponential growth very soon. And the way Dubai is growing exponentially, I love the city, and I think it has so much potential. One technique that I usually share with the children and with corporates is the one that we call the solution, and it was created by one of my teachers, Dr. Ramesh, who is actually an orthopedic surgeon in Dubai, who was an orthopedic surgeon for almost 40 years. And so the solution is a very simple exercise. It is up to you whether you spend 1 minute doing it, or 9 minutes doing it, or half an hour doing it. Okay. There are various levels, but the simplest level, of course, as with each exercise, the breath is involved because your breath is your first healer. If we taught children how to breathe properly and just do some simple pranayama or breathing exercises, it would change so much within their bodies and their emotions. So we bring the fingers and the thumb together and gently rest it in your lap and relax your shoulders. And then simply, it's not a meditation, it's a process that you take yourself through, and you can do it any way you are. You can choose to either close your eyes or keep your eyes open. So let's keep our eyes open for now, and once your fingertips and your thumb tips are touching, you just simply say to your mind, it's like a command. You say, I am in the center of my forehead. And you don't need to focus or bring your concentration there. Just saying it once to the mind, this is the center of the forehead. You just say to your mind, I am in the center of the forehead. And we will take one breath here, very deep breath, but you can do 3 or 9 or 6 as you like, depending on the time you have. So we say, I am in the center of my forehead, and you take a deep breath in. And you exhale through your mouth. And feel now the stillness and peace already with one breath. And so then, if you want to take 3, you take 3. And the next step is, I am in the center of my nose. You don't need to say it loudly, just in your mind. And you take another deep breath in the tip of my nose. I am in my chin. I am in my throat, or the center of my neck. I am in my heart, or the center of my chest. And then you bring your hands to rest just below the heart and above the belly button. And this is the point in the body where you can come to even when you want to make a decision. So when you come here, and if you have a decision to make, you can think of that decision. And if you feel light and happy, it's the right decision. But if you feel sad and dull and heavy, then it's not the right decision for you. And your body will be able to tell you, because your body has its own intelligence. And so you end here, or you move back to your heart, and you send blessings wherever you want, to whomever you want, and that is it. And so even if a child is in class and he or she just puts the fingertips together under the desk and just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, literally in those 5 breaths, the child comes back to center, the adult comes back to center. Both hemispheres of your brain begin to work together in harmony. And your whole body falls into balance because you are focusing on the center point of your body, all the points that are in the center.
I can imagine if like big number of people can do this kind of simple techniques, in the entire organization, entire school, how much, the energy will transform.
And if you do 3 breaths, it's even more effective. 9 breaths, even more effective. And sometimes you just sit and continue, and you can do it for so long. And because you're not forcing the mind to concentrate, we just say bring your awareness, your attention, and your focus to that particular point. And so everything in your body moves to that point, even if you're not actually looking at it or touching it. So yes, bless Dr. Ramesh. He's written a book called The Solution as well, in case somebody is interested to know more. I would like to share one more thing though, because sometimes we talk about it during our gratitude sessions. And this is also important to realize that most of our thoughts are either in the past or in the future. And each time our mind goes to the past, it is going down a huge rabbit hole of energy from where the energy does not come back up. And so the past is over, we cannot change it, so it's a huge waste of our energy. And they say 50% of our thoughts are from the past. And 50% will be from the future, because in each moment, we call it the now moment, but we don't actually teach how to come into the now. So the other 50% is also a huge waste of energy, because it's nothing but worry, 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 worry. And out of the 100 things you worry about, not even 0.8 of those will actually happen. And that 0.8 will happen because you're worrying about them and pulling them to you. So as you begin to get that vision or that awareness into your mind, that you are able to catch yourself in an instant and think, this is a thought of regret and it's about the past, or this is a thought of worry and it's about the future. And if you can just smile to yourself, and I know this is silly, but one of our yoga teachers taught us this, if you can smile to yourself, you have to think that you are smiling. So your mind has to think you are smiling. You cannot smile without your mind thinking you are smiling, and that brings you into the now.
Wow.
So you come up from here, and you are here, and in that smile you have a choice. You can either go back, or you move into a thought of gratitude.
Wow.
After smiling to yourself, just think to yourself anything. Thank you for my eyes that see. Thank you for my feet that walk, for my hands that hold. Any thought of gratitude will raise your energy and your vibration to such a high level that then the universe continues to send you more of the same blessings.
Wow.
And thought by thought, you reprogram your brain, you reprogram your mind, it builds new neuron connections, and the old negative limiting ones die away.
Beautiful. Wow.
So if you can catch yourself 7, 8, 9 times a day, move into gratitude, smiles, move into gratitude, and just feel blessed. Gradually, every thought becomes one of blessing and gratitude.
Nice.
And the word bless also has a beautiful frequency and vibration. Every word we say has a frequency and vibration, and the tone in which you say it is also very important. So choosing your words correctly is basically an art, and I wish we would teach children this as well. And of course, the tone of voice in which it is said. You can say something that is not very pleasant in a tone of voice where the person will actually thank you for saying it. You know, and yet you can say it in an angry way, and people don't realize that when angry words or words that have a lower vibration emerge from our mouths, they affect us first. And then they move on and they change so much in the universe. And then they reach the person with whom we are angry or with whom we are speaking the words. So we are affected first, then the universe changes, and then the person is affected. And we just think that person is affected, but it's not so. And therefore, being impeccable with your word, which is one of the first of the 4 agreements, a book by Don Miguel Ruiz, which is another book that should be taught in schools. And a lot of the homeschooling groups are actually using the children's edition of that book to teach the children these things. So being impeccable with your word doesn't just mean keeping your promises, it means being aware of each word and each sentence that you are saying and the tone in which you are saying it. Of course, keeping your promises is also very important.
Wow. Thank you very much,
Pleasure,
Zarine. It was a beautiful chat to you. I've learned so much. And the most important, you have such a beautiful energy, so I think like by talking to you, I